It's a breakfast show with Eric and Claire now, and our next guest is a Shropshire adventurer who has a string of records to his name and has recently cycled 5,000 miles across Australia. As you do. Ian Evans lives in Canada these days, but it sounds like he's constantly on the move, and his next plan is to ski to the South Pole. He's come in the studio with his friend Peter Shaw. We'll hear from him shortly, but first of all, good morning.
Good morning.
Do you get bored easily?
Sometimes I do, yes. My wife would say I do, for sure.
So let's just get this right. You were born and grew up in Shropshire, did you?
Yes, I did, yes. I've actually lived half my life in Shrewsbury and half my life in Canada.
Why did you go to Canada?
Well, I went there for work originally, and it was a 2-year contract, and that was 27 years ago.
So you hated it that much?
Absolutely.
Whereabouts in Canada are you?
We're in Ontario, a small village called Elora.
And do you come back to Shropshire much?
Come back regularly, yes. Still have lots of family and friends here. And we actually keep a camper van here, so we're taking off next week in that.
Oh, well, hopefully the weather will be a bit better for you then.
Hopefully it will.
Now, how did all these adventures start? Because weren't you an accountant?
Yes.
Are you still an accountant?
I lead a dual life, yes. So I actually qualified with Dyke and Rusco in town. That's now Dyke Yaxley. Went to Coopers and Lybrand, travelled through Africa with them and Canada. And I've always taken lots of time off to do these adventure things like climbing and cycling and mountaineering and stuff like that. So I've always tried to mix those two different lives.
Did anything inspire you to do all these adventures?
Not particularly. When I was in Africa, I really got the sense for adventure, and hiking up Kilimanjaro gave me the altitude, and I really enjoyed it and did well at it, and I just pursued it from there. It's a wonderful way to travel the world.
What's been the most difficult challenge for you personally?
I think the most difficult challenge is certainly Mount McKinley in Alaska was very tough. Arctic mountaineering for a month. But I think cycling across Australia, the mental aspect of that, cycling on your own across Australia for those months, you really need to be mentally prepared as well as physically.
Yeah, because you've got no one to chat to, really, have you?
No, there's a few kangaroos, though. I did have some interesting conversations there.
Now, when you were doing all this climbing, there's a consistency with that because you've done about 7 summits. What made you decide to cycle across Australia then? Well,
Australia's a place I'd never been to. I always wanted to go. I've cycled around lots of places in the world, and I thought, what a wonderful way to see the country. Although I ended up seeing a narrow ribbon of the country across Australia, a mile wide, so there's a whole chunk of the country I've never been to yet.
Did you get lonely?
Sometimes.
And you're doing a talk on this tonight, aren't you?
Well, actually, what we're doing on Saturday, Peter and I have done many shows in Canada, and it's actually a film. So I made a documentary film while I was cycling across Australia. It's 45 minutes, high definition. And Peter is playing some music beforehand, telling some stories. And we checked out the Ashton Theatre yesterday at Shrewsbury School. It's a wonderful facility. The film looks magnificent on the screen. And we've had sellout crowds in Canada so far. So we're hoping for a big crowd on Saturday at Saturday night, 7 o'clock at Shrewsbury School, Ashton Theatre.
We're going to hear from Peter in a second, but what are you going to be doing next? What's your next big adventure all about?
The next big adventure is going to another pub night with Peter this week. But actually, joking apart, I'm actually going on an expedition to ski to the South Pole in November.
Right, and how easy is it to prepare for something like that?
It's not. There's several pieces to that. The first piece is raising the money to go. So that's the first adventure. We need, let me translate that to UK pounds, about £100,000 to go.
How the heck do you find £100,000?
By begging, stealing and borrowing as much as possible and putting on shows like this. And then, yes, lots of training and lots of preparation, mental preparation, and we're very excited, but also petrified at the same time.
I'm guessing you're going with the team this time?
There's 2 of us. Well, 2? Actually, and a guide, so 3.
How long does a trip like that take?
2 months.
Okay. So you're ready mentally for this one, are you?
Not yet. I'm still in pub mode and movie mode here.
Okay, so you met Peter presumably on your trip to Australia.
Well, no.
Oh.
No, we met online.
Did you?
Okay, it's not what you think.
I read about Ian's trip in the local paper. I've lived in Canada for 45 years, so on the local paper...
confusing mix, you two, aren't you?
Yeah, I I read about his trip, and I sent him an email encouraging him and saying, I'd like to meet you when you get back to Canada, and I'll sing Waltzing Matilda for you. Well, it mushroomed into more than that, and so I did a lot. Well, I did all the music for the film that they'll be seeing at the Ashton Theatre on Saturday night, and I'll also be doing some live performance at the Ashton Theatre.
Come on, then, give us a little taster of what you're going to be doing.
This is one of the. I tried to pick road songs, you know, that would fit in with the road that he was travelling, and this is the Road to Gundagai. Gundagai's a little place in the outback of Australia, and a young guy wanted to get back and see his friends. There's a track winding back to an old-fashioned shack along the road to Gundagai, where the blue gums are swaying and the Murrumbidgee's flowing beneath the sunny sky, where my mother and father are waiting for me, and the pals of my childhood once more I will see, and no more will I roam when I get back to my home along the road to Gundagai. Much like Ian coming back to Shrewsbury to see his old friends. And
That was great, lovely.
like it.
Thank you very much. You did 5,000 kilometres in 57 days.
Yes, that's right.
Did you get over the numb bum stage then?
I did. It took me a few weeks. I tried to get on the bicycle after a few days and just put it away again.
Did you?
So it took me a while to get over that. Yeah, there's a cumulative tiredness. So a day off doesn't do it. You need a week off and 2 weeks off. But the Australian Steaks and Beer did a great job. I just want to mention where you can get tickets for the show.
So it's this Saturday, 29th of March, 7 o'clock.
29th of March, 7 o'clock. Please show up early. You can buy them on the door at the Ashton Theatre, Shrewsbury School, or from High Sports on Weil Cop. Their number is 231649. They have tickets left and would love to see everyone there and meet people I haven't seen for 30 years, I hope.
Lovely to meet you both. Thank you very much for coming in.
You're very
Hope
welcome.
it goes well.
Sing Matilda, oh, come on, sing Matilda.